Hawks lays an egg. By Butterfly Apocalypse on AO3. Summary. What is that? Dabi asked. Hawks flared his feathers. That is our sun. Dabi eyed the large, oblong white object cradled in Hawks' arm. An egg, he realized. Hawks laid an egg. Episode 1. Chapter 1. What is that? Dabi asked. Hawks flared his feathers. That is our sun. Dabi eyed the large, oblong white object cradled in Hawks' arm. An egg, he realized. Hawks laid an egg. There were about 1,000,000 thoughts flying through Dabi's mind. First and foremost, was this a prank or a trick? There was no way. Hawks couldn't lay an egg. Could he? Dabi supposed it was possible in this weird, quirk-filled world, unless this was somehow related to his plan to join the League. Was he going to have to pay child support? He wasn't ready to be a dad. What if the kid didn't like him? What if Dad ended up like his own father? Wait, no, he needed to focus. You laid an egg, he said. Good. His ability to state factual information was still intact. Yes, Hawk said, adjusting his arms to hold said egg closer. Another thought surfaced. Are you sure it's mine? Hawks looked affronted. Hey now, just what are you implying there, Crispy? Dabi shrugged. You seem like the type to sleep around. Hawks laid out an offended squawk. You accuse me of... I would almost never. At Dabi's impasse expression, Hawk sighed. Yeah, I'm sure it's yours. Huh. Well, there it was. Dabi was going to be a father. So, am I supposed to help you sit on it? Dabi was really at a loss of what to do. He never had pets, much less a baby. Egg? Of course not. Do you want to break it? Hawks exclaimed. Kinda, Dabi thought internally. What? He was a destructive guy. This is why he shouldn't be a father. This was gonna be bad. I just gotta keep it warm and humid, and turn it and stuff. I've got my nest all set up and everything. Hawk explained. Humid, turning... Yeah, no, Dabi was not qualified to incubate an egg. He could do warm. He was qualified to provide heat. Maybe over-qualified. He briefly entertained the idea of hard-boiling the little sucker and... Oh, God, he was like his father. Dabi took a breath. If he didn't want to be like his father, he could just dip now and not have anything to do with the omelet. That way, if the kid had daddy issues, he would cause them passively. Sounds like you've got it all sorted then. I'll let the League know you'll be out of commission for... Hawks cleared his throat. It's your job to bring me food and protect the egg from predators. I'm predator. Dabi deadpanned. It may be an egg, but this, Hawks held out the egg, is an actual human fetus. And Dabi narrowed his eyes. You think I wouldn't eat a human fetus given the opportunity? He probably wouldn't. Probably. But he planned that doubt in Hawks' mind. He convinced him that he'd kill the egg if he was left alone with it, and get Hawks to never talk to him again. I guess I wouldn't put it past you for human fetuses in general. You're kind of messed up, no offense. But can say with certainty you're not gonna hurt our baby. Hawks said. Yeesh, Dabi thought. The guy really wasn't letting this go. Hawks was lucky Dabi was in a good mood today. Otherwise, he would have just solved this his usual way. Incineration. Dabi closed his arms, careful not to let his staples catch on his sleeve. You said I need to bring you food. How about this? I order you DoorDash every other day. Hawks considered it. Then he nodded. Yassi, Dabi thought. Then Hawks opened his mouth. And you can watch the egg while I get food on the off days. Not Yahtzee. Dabi pinched the bridge of his nose. Look, why don't we just make omelet into an omelet and forget this happened? Haha, die trying. Hawk said. a threatening undercut to his voice. A couple of red feathers nudged Dabi towards the door. I'm craving fried chicken tonight. I don't care what kind. Oh, and if you'd be so kind as to tell the league we're on parental leave, I'll make it worth your while. The feather smacked flirtly against his Durrell, and the door to Hawk's apartment slammed behind him. Dabi slouched against the bar, nursing a drink courtesy of Kagagure. He asked for the strongest drink available, but after he tried, and failed, to kick back some stupid American drink that was probably 100 proof, Kagagure wordlessly handed him a whiskey and said, whiskey had a good sort of burn that Dabi needed right now. He liked whiskey. It was earthy and strong enough that he looked menacing drinking it, but he didn't have to constantly fight back the urge to cough. Dabi snorted. Hawks probably like fruity, girly drinks with more sugar than a soda. Probably liked getting men twice his age to pay for them. Probably wouldn't be caught dead in public with Dabi. Not that he cared. Honestly, he wouldn't be caught dead with Hawks in public. He was bratty and would definitely ruin Dabi's image. Well, maybe it could work if Hawks was hanging off his arm, wearing something sexy while Dabi remained cool and aloof. Dabi finished off his drink in one go. Glad his eyes couldn't water. He sniffled a cough with a groan and let his head drop into his hands. Nearby, apparently having no sense of self-preservation, Mr. Compress cleared his throat. Something on your mind? Yeah, murder. Dabi said lowly, threatening. Same! Toga sighed dreamily. Anyone in particular? Compress pressed. Dabi glared at him from between his fingers. You, if you don't shut up. Compress ticked. Touchy, touchy. Yeah, touchy, touchy. Toga, braver, or stupider, leaned over to poke Dabi in the back, to punctuate her words. Did you get dumped? Dabi ignored her. He's not saying no. Aw, it's okay, Dabi-kun. I think we all been there. I always just kill people who break up with me, but it's sad when you really like them. I didn't even know you were dating. I'm not. Dabi snapped, forgetting his decision to ignore her. Toga was unfazed. You know what they say, plenty of fish in the sea. It's kind of hard to imagine someone would go for someone as unpleasant and ugly as you, but I'm sure there's gotta be at least one more out there. Dabi let her bubbling facade to background noise, easier to ignore that way. She was getting dangerously close to the actual problem. Not that he was dating Hawks, but they've been friends, enemies, associates, with benefits for several months now, and so the issue didn't have to do with a relationship of sorts. Namely that the relationship had recently been expanded to 3 and not just the fun kind of way. For so long, Dabi's only goal had been to take down Endeavor, and probably all of Hero Society while he was at it. He'd been single-mindedly focused on ruining the life of the man who ruined his life. After all, his life was ruined. Revenge was his only real reason for existing. His thing with Hawks had been something on the side to make the days between now and the day he killed Endeavor more bearable. And it did. Make things more bearable, that was. More than he'd like to admit. It was fun to antagonize Hawks, and have him antagonize him back, and to dangle the offering of joining the league over his head. It was fun to have such an obviously dangerous playing who was primed to prey him at any second. It was like playing with a jack-in-the-box, except it was decided it was going to be done being a toy. It would try to kill him. Russian roulette. That was called Russian roulette. That was the sophisticated name for it. God, jack-in-the-box? Dabi was more drunk than he thought. Tumbling into bed with Hawks, that took his entertainment value to a whole new level. A dangerously high level. I might like this more than I like taking revenge on Endeavor level. And now there was a kid. A whole-ass baby. Dabi shuddered at the thought. He was going to call it an omelet because that was something his drunk mind could handle. But the B word was too much right now. Now there was an omelet that he would have to help take care of if he wanted to keep seeing Hawks. And he was pretty sure he mentally established that he really wanted to keep seeing Hawks. What would he even have to do? Bring Hawks food? He could do that. He picked up the habit of bringing the hero food a while ago. If he brought Hawks food every day, then he could avoid hanging out with the egg omelet. He could do that. He could bring Hawks food. They could get down and dirty for a bit, and then Dabi would leave Hawks to continue taking care of the omelet. Wash, rinse, and repeat, until the egg hatched. Easy. Except, when was the egg supposed to hatch? Was it gonna be almost a year, like an unmodified human pregnancy? Was it gonna be like however long it took birds to hatch? Dabi didn't know. He wondered if any of the other league would know. Spinner was kind of reptilian-like. Reptiles hatch from eggs, right? Did Spinner hatch from an egg? One way to find out. Dabi sat up. Spinner. Spinner looked up from where he was clearly looking at pictures of Stain on his phone, which he quickly tried to minimize, only to reveal his home screen. Also, a picture of Stain. What? Yes? Did you hatch from an egg? No point in beating around the bush. Someone behind him spat out a drink, and Toga screeched in laughter. Spinner himself seemed more shocked than anything else. Flabbergasted. What an awful word, Dabi thought. Did I hatch? From an egg? Spinner repeated. Did you? Toga asked. Now I'm curious too, did you? I don't care about that at all. Twice said, and contradicted. Spinner seemed embarrassed. Why do you even need to know that? He's avoiding the question. Shigaraki piped up, for the first time from where he was crouched in a dark corner playing video games. I'm not. It's just not a normal thing to ask someone. Spinner protested. Oh yeah, 'cause you're so normal. Dabi quipped. Just answer the question. Don't be shy, Spinner-kun. We're just gonna assume the answer is yes if you don't tell us anyways, said Toga. Spinner spouted. No, the answer is no, I did not hatch from an egg. What is wrong with you? A lot. Where to start? I'm constantly battling myself. Hey, what's wrong with you? That's not wrong with me. Well, I'm willingly choosing to spend my time with you lot, so... I, personally, am immaculate, free of flaws, divine even. Face-palming, Spinner groaned. Okay, you know what I mean. The bar lapsed into an amused silence. Dabi, ever disconstructive, broke it. Okay, but do you lay eggs? What is it with you and eggs? I did not hatch from an egg. I do not lay eggs. I don't even eat eggs. Spinner stood up angrily. Does anybody else have prying questions about my reptilian anatomy? Toga raised her hand. I read that snakes have 2 wieners and that crocodiles always have a boner. Do you? Twice giggled. Reptiles have weird junk. Yeah, but I'm not a reptile. I'm a human. Spinner protested. I don't know why I'm here anymore. This is not what Stain would have done. Shigaraki cleared his throat. Avoiding the question again. Compress was stifling laughter. He's always got a boner for Stain. I do not! Spinner looked mortified. I just admired him and his ideology and... Spinner and Stainy sitting in a tree. Toga sing-songed. Dabi turned away from the chaos and found, gratefully, that Karagiri had refilled his glass. Well, that had been no help at all. He didn't know why he expected anything different. It wasn't as if he would be taking parenting advice from someone in the league. Except maybe Kagaguri. Dabi wasn't sure if he'd consider the man fatherly, but he was at least good Valka aunt. None of them knew anything about kids, unless you counted Shigaraki acting like a man-child. Hawks wasn't much more than a brat himself. Was he going to be able to actually care for the egg? He seemed pretty confident when he dropped the news on Dabi, but he had the shaking suspicion that Hawks might not be as qualified as he acted. Did an egg really just need to be hummed, hot, and turned? Was that all there was to it? How hot did it need to be? How humid? Why did the egg need to be turned? Without a primary source on egg care, Dabi turned to the next big thing. Google. And absent-mindedly, WikiHow. Step 1, according to WikiHow, was to attain feral eggs. Dabi chuckled. The egg was fertilized, all right. In fact, that was the problem. The next several steps detailed how to select the egg to incubate, which were not relevant. Step 6 caught his eye. Decide whether to use an incubator or a broody hen. Should they use an incubator? Was an incubator better? Checking the details, Dabi found that the main drawback to using a hen was the risk that it may not be broody at the right time. Dabi fought a smirk. Oh, they had a broody hen, all right. He remembered the way Hawks had cradled Omelette delicately in his arms. Dabi wasn't in the habit of describing Hawks as cute, but it'd been kinda cute. Broody hen. Looking into raising some chickens? Compressed asked. Dabi absolutely did not jump, but he did slam his phone screen down against the bar as fast as he could manage. Someone's nosy today, Dabi said defensively. Someone's got an interest in eggs today, Compress retorted. Yeah, why are you so interested? Spinner asked, clearly eager to divert attention off himself. Dabi shrugged. He couldn't act too defensive, or they'll never let it go. Too gripped, and they'll see through it. Irritating. Might have to exit soon. Good. Vague enough to mask that the egg is his, but specific enough to satisfy their curiosities. Exit? Like you're gonna sit on an egg? Compress asked, incredulously. Dabi scoffed. Course not, that would break it. Nobody needed to know. He asked the same question to Hawks. Are you gonna have a little baby chicks? Can I hold them when they hatch? Toga squealed. Wait. If you're egg sitting, then they're not your eggs. Spinner pointed accusingly. Whose are they? Dabi felt like he was in that one stupid lawyer game, the one where the objectives, whatever it was called. Of course it's not my egg. Why would it be my egg? Oh, too defensive. Go back to aloof. It's Nugia's. Who is Nugia? Twice asked. I know Nugia. None of your business, Dabi answered. Boo, Toga called. Tell us. Then she gasped. Dabi-kun, did you get someone pregnant? Dabi was gonna have to give her more credit. She figured that out way too fast. He clearly had too much alcohol because he was fumbling for a reply. Twice gasped dramatically. No way! I never would have guessed it. I totally called it. Wow, I was sure you were, gay, Toga exclaimed. Dabi grunted. Yeah, definitely more credit. Spinner looked lost. So, wait, you got someone pregnant, they laid an egg, and you're gonna help raise it? Ah, there was the question Dabi himself had been antagonizing over. Was he gonna help raise Omelette? The one thing for certain is that he knew he was not going to be like his own father. His own father who had beaten his children, beaten his wife, who pretended the children who disappointed him didn't even exist, who ruined his life. So the bottom line was, if Dabi didn't want to be like his father, all he had to do was not ruin Omelette's life. That was easy enough. He couldn't ruin someone's life if he wasn't a part of it in the first place. He decided that early on, he tried to feel certain about that answer. But there was something nagging doubt somewhere in his mind. Why was he feeling doubt? He didn't like feeling doubt. Usually all he felt was hatred towards Endeavor, or indifference towards anything else. Doubt was right out. But without a doubt, doubt was filling him. What was he doubting? The kid might be sad or feel abandoned if he was only raised by one of his parents, but no good could come from Dabi raising the kid. Dabi was a villain who did nothing but harm, someone who had been whittled down to nothing but a will for revenge and arson-flavored destruction. At best, the kid would grow up with some warped vision of the world. At worst, the kid would follow in his footsteps. Dabi curiously decided not to reflect on the fact that he considered following in his footsteps was the worst fate the kid could have. More likely, Dabi would try his best to be different than his dad. But he knew, and hated, that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Would he lash out in anger at the kid? Would he put impossible expectations on him? Would he stray too far the other direction and seem like he didn't care at all? What if he tried to care about the kid and just couldn't? Screw the doubt, there were too many ways Dabi would mess up if he tried to raise the kid. He'll bring food to Hawks until the egg hatched, and after that, he was on his own. That's where the doubt was coming from. Was Hawks gonna be able to raise the kid? They never gotten into where they were. Getting into it. But Dabi was aware that Hawks had his own parental issues. Besides that, he was bratty and overconfident. He would definitely try to raise the kid on his own and just wing it. What if Hawks ended up getting tired of having a child, or Hawks ended up ruining the kid's life, and Dabi just stood back and let it happen? Then, Dabi was struck with the realization. Maybe there was more to defeating Endeavor than just defeating Endeavor. Maybe he could surpass him, succeed where he failed. If he could, Dabi would stop anyone from having to suffer through the childhood he had. And for Omelette, he could personally see to that. What had he been thinking? It was nowhere near enough to just not be a part of Omelette's life. If Dabi wanted to defeat his father, it wasn't enough to just not be like him. Dabi had to be everything he wasn't. He was gonna raise the shit out of this kid. Omelette was never gonna be scared of him, or anything, if Dabi could help it. Yeah, Dabi said. Yeah, I am gonna help raise it. I'm gonna raise a kid. Well, I'll be damned. Kaguri chuckled. That's quite the commitment. I didn't expect that from you. Toga squealed. There's gonna be a baby! There's gonna be a baby! Can I hold it? Can we meet it? I promise I won't stab it much. There's gonna be a baby! There's gonna be a baby! Can we meet it? Can I hold it? I promise I won't stab it much. Baby's not hatched yet. Dabi pushed her away. And you're not allowed to hold knives and the baby at the same time. Huh, Compress said. Then, huh, again. Dabi fixed him with a glare. Got something to say, clown? Just that I never took you for the parental type. Compress shrugged. Before Dabi could retort, he continued. But you sound like you actually are gonna be a good dad. Dabi felt weirdly touched by that. Gross. Whatever, he murmured, sounding pleased, much to his displeasure. He stood up and grabbed his coat from the back of the stool. He had some fried chicken to pick up, after all. Shigaraki coughed. This better not affect your performance for the league. Oh, yeah, about that. Dabi opened the door and saluted sarcastically. Hawks and I are taking parental leave. The door closing behind him did little to muffle the shouts that followed after him. Oh, how are we liking the new series? Those in the Discord, you know that the series was coming up. This shit is funny. So, I saw the title of this one, I'm like, I'm not even gonna read the summary, I'm not gonna read anything, I'm just straight. I want that one. I did read, obviously, the summary and then the tags and all that stuff because I'm not stupid. I don't want to accidentally get major character death kind of thing and like me crying over an egg, but this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be funny. It's a crack fic with a side of serious fries. That was one of the tags. Crack fic with a side of serious fries. So we're gonna have fun with the crack part, and then we're also gonna have fun with the serious part. I am so excited. It took me a while to draw the picture for this thumbnail. Oh my god, it took so long. I was gonna maybe do it where like Hawks was holding the egg, but I'm like, nope, I tried doing that, but I couldn't get the positioning to look right, because it was supposed to be this, and then in his other arm, he was supposed to be holding the egg, and I'm like, what if Dabi holds the other one? They're both holding, but I'm like, no. And I ended up just cutting out the egg from the intro. I mean, you could pretty much know that there's gonna be an egg. Hawks Lays an Egg is the title of this. For a while, you're gonna be seeing Hawks Lays an Egg. Now, this series, I know it says that there is only 8 chapters. There will not be 8 episodes. There would be so much more, because this series is like 500 words short of 50,000, right? So that chapter is, I think, the shortest chapter, because the next chapter is, it looks to be twice the size. Let me check. Is it twice the size? I'm checking the word count, because that's how I check. I don't check through the scroll bar because people use different layouts for their fics, and that could change how the scroll bar looks. So word count, what never changes is the word count and how long it takes me. Oh, okay, it's relatively around the same size, but I think I'm going to split the next one because I think each one's going to be about that long. I might split the next one depending if I want to or not, depending on how it is and recording wise. So some of them will be split chapters, others will be long. This was a lengthier chapter because I kind of got into reading it. I was going to split it at the halfway mark, but I kind of got into it, and 20 minutes is not that long. 20 minutes is not that long. But yeah, how are we feeling about the new chapter? How are we feeling about the new series? Butterfly Apocalypse, thank you for allowing me to read this fic. I am loving it so far. I love his internal monologue. I know this is a crack fic, and for the most part for crack fics, you do not have to do much to impress me. All I'm looking at to be good is the plot. And by the plot, I mean I want it to be funny. Crack fics, I view it as like comedy fics. You know, comedy fics or comedy shows, you know, where it's like, it's supposed to be silly, it's supposed to be goofy, it's supposed to be like, you know, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. But I'm liking your writing style. Your writing style seems to be good, and I'm actually liking this. I'm getting excited. I'm like, okay, well, we already established the egg part. Are we gonna start establishing, you know, the taking care of the egg and stuff like that, and then establish the relationship between Hot Wings? I also thought it would be funny, instead of saying their ship name in the title, instead of it being Dabi Hawks or Hawks Dabi or anything like that, for it to just be Hot Wings. I think the picture of Hawks and Dabi will attract those who don't know that that's the ship name, and those who do know what the ship name is, y'all are gonna laugh with me because it's a crack fic, and I thought it would be funny to, you know, have that there. Because some of these ship names, the silly ship names, are so hilarious, and I love them. Like Hot Wings, I love that shit. That shit is so funny to me. But I'm so excited to do the rest of this fic. I'm really excited. I also know that lately a certain series has also exploded. So hopefully this series gets love, and I really hope that my other series that I started, like yesterday, I feel for you guys, I think yesterday for you guys, yeah, or 2 days ago for you guys, I think it's 2 days ago for you guys, which is my Toga and Ochako fic, also get love. So if you guys want, go check that one out, because that one is great. That one is amazing. I love that one so far, and I really want that one to explode. I know that girl x girl ships are often buried under guy x guy ships, you know, under Hot Wings, and especially in like multiple fandoms. It's not just My Hero Academia, it's a whole fandom thing, which is why when the AO3 ship count comes out and all of that comes out, there's a separate one for just the female x female ships, because, or non-male liking non-male ships, because a lot of the times the non-women liking non-women ships win over the girl x girl ships. The male x male ships win over the girl x girl ships, you know, unfortunately. So also there's not many podfics of that, so go check that out, and can't wait to see you tomorrow for the next chapter of Hawks Lays an Egg. As always, my raindrops, so make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.